JetBlue flight severe turbulence is an issue that no passenger ever wants to encounter. In these situations, the airplane can roll and pitch side to side, and it can go up or down more than normal. It is important for passengers to remain seated and put on their seat belts as soon as a severe turbulence warning is given. In these instances, the plane can become unsteady and passengers can be at risk of getting injured. Turbulence is a normal occurrence, but severe turbulence is something that pilots try to avoid. However, if they do encounter severe turbulence, the pilot will take necessary steps to ensure the safety of the passengers. The pilot will slow the aircraft down, and the flight attendants will remind the passengers to remain seat belted with their arms and legs inside the aircraft. Severe turbulence can cause items to become airborne in the cabin, so it is important to stow away any items that are not in the seat pocket. If passengers are able to hear loud vibrations, see light fixtures and window shades move, or feel sudden drops, they should remember to remain seated and avoid becoming alarmed. When severe turbulence is present, the pilots of the JetBlue flight will make course corrections to ensure that the aircraft is placed in the most safe and steady position. The crew is trained to handle these kinds of situations, so it is important to listen to the directions provided by them. JetBlue flight severe turbulence can be a frightening experience for passengers, but with the help of the crew members and following the safety regulations, passengers can make it through the rough patch. It is natural for some passengers to become anxious during turbulence, but it is important to remain calm, as this loud and sometimes violent shaking is not dangerous or an emergency. Severe turbulence can be unsettling for passengers, but the pilots are very experienced and are capable of regaining control of the aircraft. The pilots will adjust the engines, flaps, and flight control surfaces to ensure a safe incline and descent to avoid further turbulence. Even though the turbulence may feel like the aircraft is shaking more than normal, the crew is trained to handle these situations. After severe turbulence, the pilot will make sure that the aircraft is in a straight and level flight path, and occasionally the pilot will also turn on the seat belt sign for a brief amount of time. It is important to pay attention to the seat belt sign because it is a sign that the plane is still in a rough patch and passengers should remain seated with their seat belts fastened. JetBlue flight severe turbulence can sometimes cause minor bruises and bumps, but it is important to report any injuries to a crew member immediately. Most injuries that can occur during severe turbulence are due to passengers not following the crew's instructions or not using the appropriate safety equipment. If passengers feel stressed or anxious, they can lean forward into a brace position with their arms and hands around the head and drink a cup of water. JetBlue pilots are trained to handle severe turbulence and make the necessary course corrections in order to keep the passengers safe. Despite the ominous sound of severe turbulence, The pilots and crew are capable of helping passengers through it. It is important to remain calm and follow the crew's instructions during this time, as it is not dangerous and the aircraft is perfectly capable of stabilizing itself. Passengers should pay attention to the tone of the pilot's voice and their instructions. JetBlue flight severe turbulence can be a frightening and intimidating experience for passengers, but the pilots and crew are extremely experienced and have the skills to get the aircraft safely out of the turbulence. The pilot will most likely alert passengers when they reach more stable air where there is significantly less turbulence. When this happens, some passengers may feel relieved, but it is important to remain seated until the seat belt sign is turned off.